All right, can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. This is an impromptu setup, so I'm going to be looking over at my screen this way. I probably should have put my screen this way, but nonetheless, we are here. I want to talk to you guys today about, before I do that, we got some people watching. If you can, go ahead and drop a comment and let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just do a thumbs up or put it in the chat that you can hear me before I begin with my rant. And I'm gonna try to move my monitor. And this is live, guys. So this is what you get when you come on live with me. Don't see any comments here. Let me just check my voltage. I think we should be good to go. Yep, I got the green light. All right, so this video and this educational session is all about buy here, pay here, and why it makes no sense to continue to do it. So if you are doing buy here, pay here right now, I know you're probably up against so many factors, and factors that I was up against and other buy here, pay here dealers are up against. And so you're probably wondering, you know, my post, my title of this video is buy here, pay here is no longer sensible. And here's why it's no longer sensible. Number one reason it's no longer sensible is essentially it is too expensive to buy the cars that would qualify for a sensible down buy here, pay here program. So typically, and I am like greasy. Sorry guys. Typically on buy here, pay here, you want to buy your cars as inexpensive as possible so that you can offer the best possible down payment on that particular vehicle. So what we're finding now is that those price points are no longer consistent. Not only are they inconsistent, they're almost extinct to be able to find. And so it really changes the structure. And that change in that structure is so consequential because it goes against what it is that you need to have happen in order to be successful in the buy here, pay here industry. And so first things first, the main reason why it is no longer sensible is because the price of entry of that particular vehicle, the price to buy that particular vehicle is now really expensive. And so your buy here, pay here down payments will be very unsensible. Let's give you a scenario. If you buy, which I used to be able to buy all day long, a 2004 Nissan Maxima, right? If you buy that particular vehicle and you pay, say you pay, before COVID, you paid $1,200, right? Pretty good, you know, and that's all in. So I would say you want to bid at $1,200 buy fee. So $1,200 all in. That's a pretty sensible down payment on a car when you have, you know, very little entry, very little requirements for the buyer. That makes sense. But when that same vehicle now sells for $1,800 and $1,900, it no longer makes sense for a buy here, pay here. And so that is the main issue that you have if you're trying to fit your car lot into buy here, pay here right now today. That's going to be your biggest issue. Now, the second issue is the mentality of the people. I don't think that the mentality of the people have shifted. I think that the same consumers that purchased the buy here, pay here inventory before still is after that inventory. I think that people have gotten so much free money, you know, either in unemployment benefits or the stimulus. I mean, that was only $1,200, but the unemployment benefits, the extra unemployment benefits. And so people, I think, are trying to now come up off of that money, right? Like they're trying to make that money make sense. And so a lot of them are not willing to go out and buy a 2004 they're looking for, maybe a little bit nicer of a car because they have a little bit more money than they normally would due to the artificial stimulation of the economy. So that is a main crossroads that you have to be able to get over if you want to still do buy here, pay here in this time. So number one, the consistency is no longer there for inventory. And if you don't have consistency in inventory, you don't have a car lot that's going to thrive because you're not going to be able to have units to sell. Even before COVID, buy here, pay here, sweet deals were very inconsistent in the grand scheme of things. You could find them, but they weren't consistently available. So even before COVID, if you were not a good used car dealer, if you did not have a good understanding of what your car lot is able to do on buy here, pay here, you probably still struggled before COVID of finding cars that were cheap enough to work in your market. Right? Because again, the key to buy here, pay here, in my opinion, is a very, very cheap cash position. If you can get cars at a very cheap cash position, then it really yield you the highest returns, right? Because, you can do a nice down payment where you can make maybe a couple $100 in profit on the front end. And then you have a pretty good payday on the back end. So that is, so you got the inconsistency in inventory, the inflation of the rates of vehicles, the prices of the vehicles, and the mentality of the people have shifted slightly. I wouldn't say that is but that's on the list. So those three things is the reason why, in my opinion, my professional opinion, after doing this almost 2 years, as to why buy here, pay here right now, in the middle of COVID is no longer a thing. So while you're watching this video, go ahead and drop your comments in. I'll be looking at my screen over here. Next time it'll be like right there so I can see it. If you got a question or a concern, go ahead and throw it in there. Now I want to talk to you guys about, okay, well, you've told me all of these horrible things about buy here, pay here. My company was founded on that. Like this is what you're saying in your head. Now, my company was founded on that. What should I do? I'll tell you this. I started 2 car lots, or 3. One in Georgia that I did, which was called Eminent Motors. I soon found out that name is super hard for people to say and spell, right? Eminent, E-M-I-N-E-N-T. Very easy to me, but I struggled with people being able to consistently say that name for some reason. But anyway, so I started 3 car lots, and all 3 were positioned to be successful with buy here, pay here. I've since closed 2, and now I'm down to 1 that I run every single day. And so I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Okay. And it's just a complete transparent, somewhat of advice to you. Obviously I'm going to be offering my mentorship program here soon. So if you want to actually have hands-on with me and be able to go through the procedures of all of that, then definitely look out for that video. Hopefully you're subscribed to the channel so you can see when I post that. But let's get into what you can do in lieu of the devastating turn of buy here, pay here. Most of you guys probably have done buy here, pay here, or most of you guys are trying to emulate and model your company after what I've done. Other people probably have come from another group that I used to affiliate with, and a channel that I was once subscribed to, Rick Dyer and his program of buy here, pay here. I am not affiliated with Rick Dyer. We don't have any type of company affiliation, none of that. But I was a follower of his channel, his YouTube channel, and I've actually went to his dealer seminars and all that stuff. But anyway, so a lot of you guys probably have come from that medium, and then other guys probably have come just organically due to YouTube trying to help a brother out with growing this channel. But anyway, needless to say, if you are at that point where you've invested time and effort and energy to build a sustainable buy here, pay here business, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. You can do what you want. If you're already in business, obviously, I hope that you are pushing yourself to adapt and elevate and continue to be profitable. If you are in buy here, pay here, and you're still able to do it, continue doing it. Obviously, don't stop a good thing. For me, it just became completely short of impossible to do consistently. And so that's why I had to reinvent. I almost feel like I'm starting my car lot from scratch all over again. That's pretty much what it feels like. And that's pretty much what it is. When you have to adapt and you have to grow, you have a learning curve that is pretty steep. I mean, it's almost like overnight. So with that being said, let me tell you what I'm doing. I know I said a whole lot to say what I'm doing, but hey, you know, you got to follow along if you want to get the information. I'm going to go to the comments first before I tell you what I'm doing. And next time you guys come into my educational, what should I call this? Live educational sessions. We're going to have this background done up. It's going to be nicer. This is just the rough draft of it with my Canon. But anyway, first question is from KPW Auto. I think I've seen your logo somewhere. Anyway, do you think prices will come down? What goes up must come down. So it will happen. When will it happen? Your guess is just as good as mine. I think that now here's what people got to understand about prices right now in the used car market. If you've been in the used car business for a little bit of time, you should have developed the patterns of this business. And this business is a very pattern-oriented business. Like there are certain time frames that the expected happens, right? So ordinarily, outside of COVID, October, November, and December, prices typically go up anyway, okay? So when you think about that, if you've done the business before, you know that to be a fact. So what we are experiencing is, I think we're experiencing the normal inflation in a sense, coupled with just a little bit of remnants from COVID inflation. I don't think that the prices are severely as inflated as it once was. Like say June and July, things was just, I mean, it just, you know, it was, I don't even know the word to say for it. It was just crazy. And that's an understatement. But anyway, so ordinarily the prices are always typically elevated at this particular point of the year due to the fact that a lot of car dealers are preparing for the tax season next year. Now, those car dealers that prepare for those seasons are typically car dealers that are high volume, that make a good amount of money because they're able to stock up their inventory before that inventory is going to even come into play, right? And so, yeah, so we're already in a normal season where prices are supposed to be high. So I don't think we're going to see too much. I don't know if we're going to have a normal season, you know, like, because right now things are just weird. But I will say prices are normally inflated at this time of the year anyway, right? Because people are start to stock. Typically like November, December, prices tend to go up because people are trying to stock up for tax season for the next year. So I don't know when prices are going to come down. But I will say this. When I tell you what I'm doing, maybe it'll make a little bit better sense for you to not be so concerned about the price. Obviously, price is a factor, and I'm having to learn how to do that. And again, I had to break down my company and reinvent it. I was doing buy here, pay here, very similar to Rick Dyer's program, but I never did his program by, you know, everything that he told people to do. It just didn't work for me. So I had to do other things and layer his program with some things that I wanted to do as well. And so, but anyway, doing buy here, pay here, where you have down payments anywhere from $700 to $1,200, $75 a week. That just really is really hard to do consistently today. So I had to reinvent my whole company. What I've decided to do, and hopefully you've stayed with me this far, right? If you're watching on the playback, I probably announced what I probably told you that I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do maybe about 10 minutes ago. But anyway, we're here. What I'm doing is this. I am essentially going after cars that are a little bit more profitable. I mean, a little bit newer and a little bit pricier. Okay. Before COVID, I did not buy a car that sold for over $1,500. Okay. What I have done now is my sweet spot is now $2,500 per car max. Average. My max is going to be $3,000 a car. Now, what I'm doing with that is you have to understand your numbers. I have a friend that's in the business, and because I had to reinvent my company, I had to reinvent my mind. I had to educate myself a little bit more than I needed to be educated before COVID. Because again, when I bought cars before COVID, I knew my numbers. I didn't have to have a book value. I didn't have to do any of that. All right. And when you do a buy here, pay here program like that, the incentive is the cheaper the car, the more promising it becomes, right? The end result is more promising because now I can offer a car to someone with $500 and they don't have to jump through any hoops to get the car. They just show up with $500 on the driver's license and proof of insurance and they're gone, right? Can't do that anymore. So I had to reinvent all of my mindset. So I've decided to go up to $2,500 on average, $3,000 max. And I'm using Black Book as my valuation tool. Okay. So I am no longer using MMR because MMR is so all over the place that today, if you go to an auction tomorrow, right? Every single car, I will say this, 90% of the cars are going to sell well over MMR. If you look at the cars that you've missed and you put it in Black Book, you'll see that the margins that they actually sold for were in alignment with the Black Book value, not MMR value. Sometimes, very seldomly, the MMR and the Black Book are consistent. Typically, MMR is going to be a little bit lower than Black Book because MMR is in-house numbers and it's not representative of outside of Manheim. Is in a way, in a sense. I think they may use other auctions. I don't know. They may have other auctions where they get, let me take your comment off. They may have other auctions where they get, numbers from other auctions. But what I do know is it's designed to show what the cars are selling at Manheim auctions. Manheim Market Report, MMR. Okay. So anyway, I am no longer using MMR to evaluate my cars because every single time I tried to use MMR as a valuation tool, I came up short. And I didn't know this until I actually subscribed to Black Book Cherry. So this is a nugget. If you are a used car dealer and you have been in buy here, pay here for many, many years, and you didn't have to think twice about putting in a bid for a vehicle, you didn't have to think twice about what it would sell for, and you're going to transition and move with, kind of what's going on now, get a good valuation tool. If it's not going to be Black Book, whoever you want to use, fine. I went to Black Book because that is the source. And Black Book tells you the wholesale value. It tells you the retail value. It is pretty spot on. The second thing I'm doing is I am transitioning to outside financing. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh God, you're going outside financing. What are you doing? You're ruining your business. You're gonna fail. No, I'm not. All right. So here's why I say that you have to adapt with the times. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I'll give anybody that wants to be a used car dealer: do not take other people's opinion as fact unless you have dedicated the energy and effort to research and go through it. If you have not researched it, if you've not shared in that experience, you can't tell me anything about it because everything that you know is going to be hearsay. or researched, right? One component is research, other component is give it a try. Go through it, all right? Give it a shot. You can do things in moderation and you can find out what works for you and what doesn't, okay? So we're gonna go on this journey. We're gonna go on this journey with outside financing. Now, I'm only using one lender for my dealership. And so with that being said, we're gonna use one lender that will get all of our business, and in turn, we will get all of their attention. We are the only dealership in our area that is using this lender. All right, so all of the leads that come in from this lender will come to this beautiful company, Deal Mart Auto Sales. So I'm super excited about that. Now, I'm not telling you have to use outside financing. If you don't want to use outside financing, fine. Then you have to wait for cash deals. But I decided to go outside financing. The other thing that I'm going to do is I am transitioning as well the buy here, pay here program that I do. We are still going to offer buy here, pay here cars on our lot when the opportunity presents itself. I don't want you to think that I'm running away from buy here, pay here because I failed at it. I did not at all. I have been very successful in the buy here, pay here business, but I am number one, I'm a millennial. Number two, I'm innovative. And number three, I adapt. I survive, okay? The people that tend to make excuses or tend to get in their own way are people that are typically unsuccessful. But anyway, so those are the changes that I'm gonna do for my car lot to stay profitable and to stay top of mind to our consumers. Now, with all of that being said, if you've done buy here, pay here, your whole time of being at that location, your whole brand is designed around buy here, pay here, you're gonna have to spend some money to market yourself now as this different commodity, this different type of infrastructure, because most of your consumers are now trained to know your process. And that part is unfortunate because that part really kicks you in the gut because you spent so much time, effort, and energy building up this brand, and people are now identifying and recognizing, and word of mouth is just through the roof. And now you don't have any service, any products to offer them. And it's not your fault. It's just the way the times are. Now, will we stay this way? I don't know. But what I do know is you have to feed your family today. You can't say, I'm going to feed you whenever the times change. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to pay the bills whenever the things go back to the way they once were. We can't wait for that. You have to adapt, and you have to be able to transition with what is going on. Okay. Now, with that being said, like I said, you are reinventing your business. So you have to now market your business in a different way. That is something that I'm learning every single day. So some of the changes at Deal Mart is we've had a complete renovation in our office. Office is now freshly painted. I mean, it looks beautiful inside the office now. I don't know if you've ever looked at some of my videos and you saw the inside of my office and it looked like a hot mess. That is no longer. All right. Because when you do buy here, pay, and this is off top, when you're doing buy here, pay here, and you're able to help so many people, and you're able to put them in a car, no questions asked, anywhere from $500, $600, $700, $800 down, $75 a week, right? Or whatever your weekly payment is. When you're able to do that, aesthetics, marketing, all of that stuff is not necessarily important, because what makes you so different is the fact that you offer such a seamless, such a stress-free program, and you're serving a underserved market. Okay, but now that underserved market is gonna kind of suffer in a way, because us dealers who want to serve them are no longer able to, due to the economic factors that are outside of our control. But with that being said, you can't market to other type of consumers in the same way you market to the underserved, right? So now you're in competition in a way, because I truly believe, if you ever asked me in person, is there such thing as competition in the car business, I'll tell you no. because every car business is completely different. I literally am so confident in that notion that every car lot is different. I can put my car lot beside any one of you guys that are watching or subscribed to the channel, and I guarantee you that if we both are on our game, we both can be successful. Because guess what? We can't have the same car, right? We're not going to have the same deals. Now, we will fight like hell to beat each other out, but there is a difference, and that difference comes down to the eye and what you put into acquisitions of your inventory. Inventory acquisition, when you're doing buy here, pay here for the underserved community, it's a completely different tactic, right? I mean, it's just almost like night and day. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say, while you are reinventing your car lot, you have to reinvent your marketing efforts. You have to reinvigorate the things that you did not have to pay attention to in the past. Okay, so our marketing has changed. We are gonna own Phoenix City, Columbus, Ladonia, Auburn, Opelika. We're gonna own it when it comes to marketing. That is my goal. Okay, we're gonna own it. We're partnering up with our lender. I'm not gonna disclose who the lender is, but it's a big lender, a lot of money, subprime lender. So we're able to still serve those consumers that we would ordinarily, because they'll pretty much write a loan for anybody. And we're able to actually get them into a vehicle much less than what my payments would be. My payments on buy here, pay here is $300 a month, $75 a week. And the down payments for our typical down payment is $1,200 to $1,500 on average. Every now and again we get the 8 and 9, but on average, $1,000 to $1,200 is about our average. So we're able to now get them into a better car for $1,000 down. And so that is something that we're gonna, be able to spend. And again, while you're reinventing your marketing efforts, you have to still find a way to serve that underserved. And that is by partnering up with a lender that will still do business with your typical client. I don't advocate that you need to now go and try to compete with, the big heavy hitters in your town. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to maybe invest if you can afford it, if you feel confident in it. And again, my mentorship program is coming out to where I can show you how to do it. And again, I'm still in the the beginning stages of this, and so anyway, you're not competing with the big boys. You're probably investing maybe $1,000 more per unit. And now you're going to be using valuation tools. So now you're going to be pricing these cars on the money. No more, just $29.95, $32.50, just off the cuff. Because the way I used to roll is as long as I make my money, I'm good. I'm not here to beat anybody over the head. I'm not here to squeeze out every penny. But now that we're going to get into the heavy hitter cars, I say heavy hitter, the nicer cars, then we're gonna be asking for more closer to, at least average retail price, if not clean. Now, my lender will lend up to 115% of clean value. So again, knowing your lenders, that's going to be some stuff that if you want to know more about that and evaluating a lender and going through that process, you need to get with the mentorship program. I'm going to go to the questions now. I think we only got one. All right. Any good lenders for small independent dealers? There are so many of them out there. I would say whatever state you're in, you want to, here's one good tip. Every state has a independent dealers association. Now, I don't tell you to subscribe to that because I don't subscribe to an association. I think that, I'm not in that class. I am not a elitist. I am not a person that feels like I have to be a part of association to be successful. I do think that associations are beneficial, depending on, your size and your scale and what you're doing. And it's always good to have people lobbying laws in your benefit, right? I mean, all of the benefits of an association are there, but again, they cost money. So, to affiliate with it. But anyway, one of the things you can do is you can go to your independent dealers association and you can, every one of them should have a resources tab. And under that resources tab, you'll probably have some lenders. And those lenders on the resources tab have invested time, effort, and energy to join that association for its members and just the general community. So you will be able to find lenders there that are licensed in your state that you do business. And then you can just kind of go down that list. I will tell you, a lot of lenders right now some of them are, you're going to find two different type of lenders right now. You're going to find lenders that are ready to go and like, yes, let's get to the money. And then you're going to have some lenders that says, sorry, we're not accepting any new dealers at this time. So because the world is so crazy, the way lenders make their money is obviously having a relationship with the dealer and trusting that the dealer is able to source inventory that sustain the life of loans. That's the main key component. And then because every lender have their own underwriting, so they're not really concerned about the consumer, the customer, because they're going to do their due diligence to make sure that they don't lend their money to someone who cannot afford it or who has a higher risk level. Your job with the lender is to make sure that your inventory that you're selling can live out a loan. That's the biggest key. But anyway, so that would be my advice to you. I don't have any small independent dealers that I'm willing to say, hey, call these people yet. Not there yet. But the lender that I'm dealing with, as time progresses, when I know that I am making money, hand over fist, I will be the first person to recommend them to all of you on my channel. So just subscribe, stand by for that. So yeah, we're on here 32 minutes. Typically my educational sessions typically last about half an hour. I answer questions as you saw. So if you're watching this on a playback, definitely, feel free to subscribe. And again, the mentorship program information will be coming about that very, 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 very soon. I hope you guys have checked out the Mini Cooper video that I posted today. That video was super interesting because it was so unscripted. I went to Copart Atlanta South to really look at that vehicle as a possible viable buy for me. I did not know that I was going to have that conversation with that vehicle. And I say that, I'm just joking. I know I'm not talking to a car, but it's truly important for each and every one of you as you guys are stepping up to hire cars. If that's what you decide to do, you need to make sure you're taking time to understand what it is that you are buying. Now the stakes are a little bit higher because you're buying cars that are a little bit more expensive, and you're tying up more equity, tying up more equity into that car, and so you want to make sure you take time to go through a car. Look in the glove box. Make sure you see if there's any invoices in there, any service records. See if it has a little oil change sticker up there. All of those are indicators and cues to let you know if that car has been maintained. All of this is free information. I can't believe I'm giving all this stuff to y'all for free. I can, because that's what I like to do. But I'm telling you, the mentorship program is going to be dope. But anyway, have conversations with your cars. Make sure that you are taking time for time. And don't be afraid to, walk away. Depending on where you live, and this is the beautiful part, I think this is probably the best part of the car business, is the fact that there are auctions every single day. So there is no reason to give your money, reluctantly or unpreparedly, if that's a phrase, but not being prepared and still buy a car. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Take time for time, go through it, make sure you feel super confident, and allow the vehicle to speak to you. If we don't have any more questions, I'm going to end this live. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds to see if any questions. Anybody, we have some folks watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw that in there. And I appreciate all of you guys that have showed up tonight. I know it's late. It's super late, 9:30 on the East Coast. So yeah, I don't. Also, another announcement is I cannot narrow down a day for these educational sessions. I'm gonna do my best to try to find a particular day. But as you know, being a used car dealer, it's work. Okay. If you are aspiring to be a used car dealer, definitely check out my playlist of So You Think You Want What I think that's how. So you think you can be a used car dealer? I have 2 videos in that series, and this, yeah, 2 videos in that playlist. So go check both of those out. But yeah, guys, thank you for the love, support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I will see y'all soon. All right, until next time, take care, be well, adapt, be successful, and kill it. I'll see y'all later. Peace.